This is the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, in Abuja. It is essentially the only government research institution for the advancement of phytomedicines in the country. Channels Television has this exclusive access to the facility. As head of consultancy services at the Institute, Professor Henry Omoregie takes the crew round to see the potential locked in here.
Okay, no, I'm already done.
NIPRD, an institution with several international certifications and 10 resident professors, besides visiting professors and research fellows, can now be described as a sleeping giant at a time when the country needs its services most. From the medicinal plant garden to the laboratory, where extractions are made for further analysis, we find an institution with huge potential but struggling to survive. Officials say funding is a major challenge.
Most of the time when people talk of hear of NIPRD, what comes to their mind is sickle cell. And that is because that is the project that has gone the furthest in terms of being a concrete contribution. Funding has been a big disappointment.
The year I was appointed in 2018, my capital release was less than $500,000. That's about 250 million. With my engagement with the National Assembly and the presidency, that has increased more than twofold. On the government side, there has been some improvement. There should be more, and we're hoping that the engagement will lead to more from the government side. But from the private sector, development sector, foundations and philanthropists, it has been almost zero.
This advanced biology and chemistry laboratory was built and equipped by the United Nations in 2007 after seeing some breakthroughs made by the institution in developing anti-sickling medicine and other remedies currently in the market for the management of tuberculosis and malaria. The agency says it has made over 20 more discoveries since then, including one that could be used for the management of COVID-19. But government's routine budgeting alone is not enough to push these discoveries beyond their shelves.
We have researched and developed several phytomedicines used in malaria, used in diabetics, used in TB, and other ailments, even in HIV management. But unfortunately, we can only go to the extent which the low level of funding could allow us.
Based on the same work that was done in the laboratories you went to downstairs, by the experts you met downstairs, we used our artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to predict that this particular drug, or rather this particular phytomedicine, could have activity against COVID-19. When we didn't get the funding and we slowed down on pushing this to the next level, which is clinical trials, colleagues in Thailand who have funding have moved forward and overtaken us, and currently a tea made from the same Andrographis paniculata is being used to manage COVID-19 in Thailand.
Professor Emeje Martins is the director, Nanomedicine Center here. He was able to put up the nanomedicine laboratory last year with his team after securing a grant from foreign partners.
Even though it's just about 3 months old, we have already produced a nano product from this lab, which we are already sending to NAFDAC. So it's going to change the face of research and development, not just in NIPRD, not just in Nigeria, in Africa.
Countries such as China, Malaysia and Thailand are well advanced in phytomedicine research and development. Experts say Nigeria has the potential to be listed among these countries if the government and corporate organizations prioritize investment in research and development of phytomedicine.
Well, for more on succeeding in local drugs production, Professor Innocent Uja, former Director General at Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, joins us right now via Zoom from Abuja. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the News at 10, Professor.
Thank you very much, Millicent.
Now, looking at that report talking about phytomedicine development in Nigeria, NIPRID was described as a sleeping giant, struggling to survive. Is that something you'd also attribute to such an institution?
Well, this is not new, Millicent. I was the Director General of Nigerian Institute of Medical Research between 2010 and 2016. I worked with NIPRID, the DG, very closely. And we found that Nigeria was not ready to support research. There's no investment in research. And therefore, it is difficult to get anything out of the laboratory. As we were supposed to be working with NIPRID so that once they finish their laboratory findings, we then go to do the clinical trials, just like the DG said. Unfortunately, there's no investment. But what we hear in Nigeria is that they used to ask me, what's your breakthrough? And the answer I give to them is that what is the investment in health research? So by and large, funding is a big problem, but you can only fund something that you have compassion or commitment to. I think that both private and government in this country, private sector, philanthropists, are not prepared to support research and development in this country. And that's why we are. We have the capacity, but capacity alone without funding will not solve our problem. So my prayer is that let's take a new leap. Let's take a new leap to see how we can invest in health and in research and development. That is a drive and the driver to development. We cannot continue to wait for Europe and America. See the issue of COVID-19 vaccine. We're waiting for Europe and America to give us. And of course, if they don't solve their own problem, they cannot solve our own. And I believe that we should necessarily put the instrument in place. Let there be political commitment. Let there be the corporate social responsibility of the private sector to fund research in this country. You know, you cannot continue to wish, and then we say we're a potential country, and it is not translated into the kinetic option.
Even with COVID-19,
we need to do more.
Even with it, I mean, it's a pandemic, it's also an emergency. So isn't it a little too late to do anything? And that's if you think about researching into COVID-19 treatment or even getting close to a vaccine that might suit peculiar variants here in Nigeria. And other times, government has said it has to prioritize with its budget. There are several other sectors that also need its attention. What do you think should happen just, to solve this problem? And this is for our future, the future of our health.
We have been talking about advanced stage of research and vaccine production. Ordinary data, provision of data or documentation. We have not been doing this very effectively and efficiently. But the truth of the matter is that we need to reorientate ourselves. There's no country that develops without research. And research drives development. And I believe that we need to put our priorities right, make our priorities right, so that we invest in research. It doesn't matter whether it is health research, whether it's agricultural research, whether it is industrial research or engineering. We need to research. We need to research. I mean, look at, within 9 months, Europe and America have produced COVID-19 vaccine. And we think that are they from a different planet? It is commitment. Commitment based on the fact that it can be done. If you look at what has happened, Lassa fever Ebola, we have not got vaccines to them because it does not affect the developed countries. Now that COVID-19 is affecting the developed countries, they have quickly put, their acts together and develop vaccines, what they call emergency authorization for use. And I believe that if we are able to reorientate ourselves properly, reorganize our thoughts, give political will to health and research, to health research and development, we should be able to do well. Unfortunately, all these are wishes. And you know that if wishes were horses, everybody would ride. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. So let's have a crack team that will work for Nigeria and bring out what it takes to carry out credible research. Because we have the capacity. We need funding. When I was in NMA, it's very sad to say that each time I talked about poor funding. I don't think things have changed dramatically. I don't know now. If I say anything now, I may be guessing. But what is on ground from what the NAPRI DG said appears that nothing has changed drastically. He said, yes, that the government has improved its funding. But what about the private sector? They get so much money from Nigeria. What is their contribution to national development in terms of health research? So what we do, the government will have to come in and let them partner with private sector so that we can get our country going. At this moment, we rely on Europe and America. Look at the issue of COVID-19 vaccine. We are told that they are not even willing to sell to the poor countries like Nigeria and other African countries. Why should we wait for them? If we have put our instruments together, if we have put our thoughts together, if we have organized ourselves properly, we should be able to start this day. Their scientific knowledge and skill is not different from our own. All we need to sharpen our own and then go to the field and go to the lab and produce what we think will help us. So the overdependence on Europe and America should begin to dwindle only when political commitment is put in place and we are committed to carrying out credible research, not all these people who go to the lab today, tomorrow, they say they have had a cure on COVID. All those are charlatans. We want credible research. And we need to do that. And we need the media to help us because when we are talking, they think that we are just verbalizing. We're not just verbalizing. We know what we are saying. And we need the support of everybody. For Nigeria, Nigeria is a great country, but a great country that has potential, which cannot be driven by a kinetic option. And I believe that we can do better than what we are doing.
I'd like to thank you, Professor Innocent Uja, NMA President. Thank you for joining us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you very much, and good night.